Today is August 4th, 2020. This is Trump's speech yesterday, August 3rd. And in this speech, he's going to talk a lot about mail-in voting.
Thank you very much. I want to start by providing information on our response to Tropical Storm Isaias. Very interesting name.
This is the vision concerning Judah and Jerusalem that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw during the reigns of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Zedekiah, kings of Judah.
In particular, as it relates to FEMA, the military, law enforcement, all of the different groups that are involved. Storm surge and inland flooding are possible, and everyone needs to remain vigilant until it passes. I encourage everyone.
Those who flee from the fear of the noise will fall into a snare. The power you have is to stay still. Go into your private chambers until the fury passes over.
To follow the guidelines of the state and local authorities. We're working with them, and I think the guidelines have been very accurate so far. So it's important for all Americans to recognize that a permanent lockdown is not a viable path toward producing the result that you want, or certainly not a viable path forward, and would ultimately inflict more harm than it would prevent. So we have a series of 4 things that we signed, and you will see over a period of fairly short period, drug prices are going to be tumbling down at numbers that nobody would have ever believed possible. We have, in 51 years, the only time prices came down was during this administration. It was last year. 51 years it went up, but that was just a small decline. This is a massive decline. This is a decline that nobody can believe. I was called by senators, I was called by congressmen, please don't do this. Or maybe they'll just give up and sell them to us directly much cheaper. So a lot of things are happening. Also the rebate. We have people that are very wealthy that nobody ever heard of them, nobody knows who they are. I guess in some cases they could be pharmacies, in some cases they're individuals. We're doing a rebate, and the rebate goes to the people that lowers the price of drugs. So we have a series of 4 things that we signed, and you will see over a period of fairly short period, drug prices are going to be tumbling down once we have the vaccine approved, fully approved. Upon approval, we have our military lined up. It's logistics. It's all about logistics. They deliver a lot of things, including soldiers, but now they'll be doing vaccine. Our general is all ready to go, and he's very excited. And once we have the vaccine approved, fully approved,
I'm a gift.
He'll start the process. They will start the process.
Because I won't shut up.
And they'll get it out very, very
Like
quickly all over the country,
talking.
and maybe beyond if it works as we think it probably will. And he's very excited, and once we have the vaccine approved, fully approved, he'll start the process.
Profoundly immoral and wicked.
And they'll get it out very, very quickly all over the country, and maybe beyond if it works as we think it probably will. The therapeutics are very exciting to me, where you can go into a hospital, and whether it's through a shot or a transfusion.
Record has been greatly expanded. We now have 250,000 fossil species, but the situation hasn't changed much. We have fewer examples of evolutionary transition than we had in Darwin's time. In other words, we don't have transitional forms, we don't have transmutation that would bear out the idea of evolution. In other words, we don't have transitional forms, we don't have transmutation that would bear out the idea of evolution. So David
end this pandemic, and we will hopefully end it very quickly. We're balancing speed and safety, and we're on pace to have a vaccine available this year, maybe far in advance of the end of the year, and we're mass producing the most promising candidates in advance so that we're ready immediately upon approval. We have our military lined up. It's logistics. It's all about logistics. They deliver a lot of things, including soldiers, but now they'll be doing vaccine. Our general is all ready to go, and he's very excited. And once we have the vaccine approved, fully approved, he'll start the process. They will start the process, and they'll get it out very, very quickly all over the country and maybe beyond if it. Therapeutics are very exciting to me, where you can go into a hospital.
Here's the main thing that matters. No matter who anybody is, just as long as,
Whether it's through a shot or a transfusion, you take care of somebody and they get better. That's something to me very important. And you take care of somebody and they get better. That's something to me very important. And
So if I may ask your response to two items of the news and ask a quick question. First, have you been briefed on the incident off the coast of California where the Marines and the Navy Corps hospitalmen died in a training accident a couple of days over the weekend?
they're actually.
If I may ask your response to two items of the news and ask a quick question. First, have you been briefed on the incident off the coast of California where the Marines died in a training accident a couple of days over the weekend?
They're actually.
Marines and the Navy Corps hospitalmen, the Marines and the Navy Corps hospitalmen died in a training accident. The Marines and the Navy Corps hospitalmen died in a training accident.
a tranny accident. So between 22:39 and
Go into a hospital,
a minute later,
and whether it's through a shot or a transfusion, take care of somebody and they get better. That's something to me very important.
and then asking questions.
California where the Marines and the Navy Corps hospitalmen
Half woman,
died in a training accident
a tranny accident.
a couple of days over the weekend.
They're actually briefing me in a little while.
I said this a little while back.
This is a topic that John Denver, I'm just going to call you John Denver because you're from Denver and your name's John. Yeah, Trump's going to start talking about some type of homosexuality or somewhere along the lines, that topic's going to be up next.
Now it's either this. I'm just now catching on to that they've been talking about this forever because mail-in balloting obviously has everything to do with.
Let me get this picture out of here. Researchers have zeroed in on a possible reason. Androgens, male hormones such as testosterone, appear to boost the virus's ability to get inside cells.
The Marines and the Navy Corps hospitalmen died in a training accident a couple of days over the weekend.
They're actually briefing me in a little while. We have it scheduled for a little while.
You hope to speak to the families.
It's terrible, and we'll be in contact with the families. A thing like that is terrible.
Separately in New York today, the city prosecutor confirmed a criminal investigation into the Trump organization. Do you have any reaction to that?
Well, I just heard about this. Is just a continuation of the witch hunt. They failed at every stage of the game. This has been going on for 3.5, 4 years. Even before I got in, this was starting with the Mueller deal.
Full match.
4 seats.
Experts from Nate Silver's 538 to the Cook Police.
You don't have to approve anything. You can have double mailings. You can have all sorts of things. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. You have to approve anything. You can have double mailings. You can have all sorts of things. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's a disgrace. I mean, honestly, it's a disgrace. And that has to do with universal mail-in. Again, absentee is great. It works. Like in Florida, they'll do absentee. It really works. But universal mail-in ballots is going to be a great embarrassment to our country. Well, I have the right to do it. We haven't gotten there yet, but we'll see what happens. We will be suing in Nevada. And ballots is going to be, but universal mail-in ballots all over the country. If you look, you'll be able to find, there's a list of them all over the country, and that has to do with universal mail-in. Again, absentee is great. It works. Like it.
We could all be immune. Just a thought, just thinking, just outside the box. It's like,
Again, absentee is great. It works. Like in Florida, they'll do absentee. It really works. But universal mail-in ballots is going to be a great embarrassment to our country. We have old equipment, very old equipment. And I don't think the post office is prepared for a thing like this. You have to ask the people at the post office. But how can the post office be expected to handle? They have regular mailing. And then now on top of that, they have the internet to handle. They have regular mailing to handle. They have regular mailing. You know, all the buying, instead of going to a department store, they go buy through mail. So you have massive numbers of purchases now going through the post office. Purchase. You have to look at what they've done. You can have 2 ballots. You can harvest. It's harvesting. So you can take thousands of ballots, put them together, and just dump them down on somebody's desk after a certain period of time. They have something where if you vote, the vote can count up to 7 days later. Well, if the vote's going to count 7 days later, that means you know, if it depends on the one state like Nevada, that would mean simply that you can't have, supposing it's down to that one state, it could be, it's a great state, but supposing it's down to that one state, that means you have to wait 7 days. But they won't have it there. This is something that's so messed up. And
There's a 7-day holdup. And after 3 days and a half, and after 3 days and a half,
I do want to say that we're going to be introducing a tremendous health care plan sometime hopefully prior to the end of the month. It's just about completed now. In addition, next month we'll be doing the immigration plan. So we'll be doing that in September. We'll be doing sometime during this month the health care plan. And I think that'll be before the end of the month.
I'd just like to add that at the end of Trump's news conferences, I mean, ever since I said that one thing where, Trump, can you get that lady to stop forcing people to leave, to hurry up and get out of here? Come on, John, let's go, come on, let's go, everybody, come on.
And I think it'll be very impressive to a lot of people. Thank you very much.
The Postal Service says it has capacity for the election period. Mr. President, the Postal Service released a statement saying it has ample capacity for the election. That's not true what you just said, Mr. President.
Silence.
And donate plasma today. We would really appreciate it. This really makes people better. But what we need that beautiful ingredient that got better seem to have in your veins. You have to go to coronavirus.gov and donate plasma today. It would be tremendous. We better seem to have it. Need that beautiful ingredient that got better seem to have in your veins. You have to go to an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour, but everybody will be very appreciative. Makes people better. And you had something very special. You had something that knocked it out. You had something very special. You had something that knocked it out. So we want to be able to use it. So whatever you can do, coronavirus.gov. Whatever you can do, final stages of testing. There are now 2 vaccines in that final stage of clinical trials in America, with a 3rd vaccine likely to begin phase 3 almost immediately. And we have additional clinical trials scheduled over the next few weeks for a couple of the other companies. These are great companies. These are companies that are not only well-known, they're well-respected, most importantly. We're on pace to have a vaccine available this year, maybe far in advance of the end of the year, and we're mass producing the most promising candidates in advance so that we're ready immediately upon approval. We have our military lined up. It's logistics. It's all about logistics. They deliver a lot of things, including soldiers, but now they'll be doing vaccine. Our general is all ready to go, and he's very excited. And once we have the vaccine approved, fully approved, he'll start the process. They will start the process, and they'll get it out very, very quickly all over the country, and maybe beyond if it works as we think it probably will. safety and convenience, and really they have great safety and great convenience right from their homes. Today I'm taking action to ensure telehealth is here to stay. Today I'm taking action to ensure telehealth is here to stay. Moments ago in the Oval Office, I signed an executive order to make many of our regulatory reforms permanent. That is best for them and very, very convenient, and very talented people on the other side of the line, I have to tell you. We've all taken to make telehealth available to all. We ensured that Medicare covers telehealth visits at no additional cost.
This telepathic, supposedly capable of transmitting thoughts to other people and of knowing their thoughts, and their thoughts were evil continually. Whoever put this here has a real doubt just by saying, suppose that telepathic communication between human minds occur. But that's exactly what's happening.
Given me the gift of discerning of spirits and diverse tongues. I've never done the interpretation of tongues unless I could say that when someone was really drunk and I could understand them, then maybe.
And when the day of Pentecost had come, they were all together in one place. And suddenly there came from heaven a noise like a violent rushing wind, and it filled the whole house where they were sitting. And there appeared to them tongues as of fire. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as fire, and it sat each upon them. And they were filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with their tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at the Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Now when it was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. Every man was bewildered. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in their own tongue wherein they were born? Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and in Cappadocia and Pontus and Asia and Phrygia and Philia and Egypt and in the parts of Libya, all about Syria, and strangers of Rome, Jews and apostles. Crates and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God. And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, What does this mean? And others mocking them said, These men are full of new wine. But Peter, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said to them, You men of Judea and all that you dwell in Jerusalem, let it be known to you that, and hearken to my words, that these are not drunken as you suppose, for it is yet the 3rd hour of the day.
Diverse tongues. I've never done the interpretation of tongues unless I could say that when someone was really drunk and I could understand them, then maybe.
And co-payments can be waived for telehealth services. So the numbers are astronomical, and as you probably noticed, big ads are taken against me by Big Pharma. Very big ads, very massive buy. But in the meantime, they're calling. They want to know if they can make a deal. Noticed big ads are taken against me by Big Pharma. Very big ads, very massive buy. But in the meantime, they're calling. They want to know if they can make a deal. And I say to people, the only reason these ads are being taken is because prices are coming down for you. And because prices are coming down. Well, the only reason these ads are being taken is because prices are coming down for you. And we've gotten out of this whole horrible situation is telehealth has been incredible. And again, the increases are, many hundreds of times greater than it was before. Do you have a number? It's like 2,000% or something like that. It's an incredible increase. Companies to ensure coverage for the telehealth visits related to coronavirus infrastructure, and hard with all of the people in government that are involved with the communications infrastructure so that the telehealth gets very quick and easy access. Additionally, revenue for rural providers varies significantly from month to month, making it difficult for many to stay in business. Many are having a very difficult time. To help fix this problem, my order will create a voluntary Medicare payment system that will give rural hospitals flexibility, really great flexibility, more consistent income stream to better serve their patients.
It's interesting how that YouTube, the government, everybody involved censor other doctors because they're not going along with their narrative. I'm Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. Thank you.
And human science. Furthermore, I am directing the Department of Agriculture, Department of Health and Human Services, and the Federal Communications Commission. We were just with the heads of each one in the Oval Office just before I came up to the podium to...
It's not something you like to say, I know you said that. The big question...
Not get worse like the original flow, you understand that. But
well, I hope not. It's 1,000.
Now if you look... Arizona's going down.
If I could just finish my
Texas is going down and Florida's going down. Get worse like the original flow, you understand that. But
well, I hope not. It's 1,000.
Now if you look, Arizona's going down.
If I could just finish my question.
Texas is going down and Florida's going down.
The question is, are you
Going down where?
You look at some of the corruption having to do with universal mail-in voting. Absentee voting is okay. You have to apply. You have to go through a process.
You have to apply for mail-in.
Absentee voting is good. Look, comments. There's nothing secret about this, and you know it. You see it. What's going on right now? We have Chad Wolf. They have people. He's doing a fantastic job. He's the acting head. He's doing a fantastic job. Chad Wolf has pickets of very dangerous-looking people outside of his house. He's going to be just fine. He's tough and he's got people. But if you have the names on all of these uniforms, you'll have these maniacs in front of their houses scaring their family and their wives and or husbands, whatever it may be, out of their houses, scaring their family and their wives and or husbands, whatever it may be.
Rascal. Total rascallion. Anyway, so yeah, so I have all the, I'm God anointed me, guys. I've got a lot of gifts. And I use them for his glory. And I give all glory to him. None from me. Rascal.